Eddie, you feel like home to me. Like family.
Yours truly, Brevin Thompson, is back, this time to talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Directed by Serkis, and once again stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, who is the host of Venom, who tries to rebuild his career by interviewing infamous serial killer Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, and while interviewing him before he's about to be executed but via lethal injection, Cassidy manages to get a hold of Brock and biting his hand and ingesting a small portion of Venom's symbiote. And just when he's about to be executed, he eventually becomes the host of Carnage. So he escapes and seeks nothing more than maximum carnage. And that's honestly what should have been the title of the movie in the first place, in my opinion. But I would say that this is by far an improvement over the first film that came out in 2018. I remember seeing the first film back in 2018, and I was definitely mixed on it, because for one thing, I've always been a huge fan of Venom, and for one thing, I just wish that, I mean, just like a lot of people on the internet have, that I wish that the film was rated R, and same thing goes for Venom Let There Be Carnage, because I can understand Sony wanting to, like, tie it into, like, future Marvel films and have an eventual crossover with Spider-Man, but still, I mean, you at least would want to give what the fans want, just a hardcore R rating for a character such as Venom, or especially Carnage, because maximum carnage, I mean, blood, guts, decapitation, I mean, that's what the fans want. So, yeah, just a small little complaint, but I think is pretty well justified. One of the few things I like about this film is the banter between Eddie Brock and Venom, because when it comes to Eddie, who has this alien symbiote inside of him, who's just desperate to just go out and just eat bad guys, even though, I mean, still, when you have Venom biting guys' heads off, you cannot see it, which always annoyed me, because PG-13 rating. Eddie is just doing his best to try to avoid, like, Venom trying to, like, he's trying to prevent him from, like, eating people, and tries to find another way around it by having him just eat chickens, which is not good enough for Venom, because, I mean, it causes, like, a whole lot of banter, which I honestly thought was hilarious. Speaking of the humor, there's even a moment in the film where Venom, and I swear I am not making this up, is actually at a rave, and the people there think that he's wearing some cool, convincing-looking costume, and he's just blending in with the crowd, and he's just having the time of his life. And there's even a moment where he, like, grabs a microphone, gives, like, a little speech, and there's even a drop the mic moment, and I could not help but laugh my ass off, and I was just like, this is just great, and I liked it for it. I mean, honestly, I loved it. And it has, like, a formula that you would expect from a movie like this. I mean, you have you have a guy, a normal guy who has an alien inside of him. They eventually split up, and of course, at some point, they had to get back together again to fight the big bad guy at the end, which is exactly what happens in this film. And I'm kind of split on that, honestly, because of how. Another issue that I have with the film is its runtime being about an hour and a half long. I think it would have been more fitting if the film was a little bit longer. And also, I wonder if there will be a director's cut for this film. I don't know if there will be, because there wasn't a director's cut for the first film. So I think it would have benefited the film if it was a bit longer, so it would add a little bit more character development and have like a few like graphic scenes with Carnage. I mean, if there was a director's cut, I'd expected that it would have been rated R, but I mean, that's just my theory, honestly. When it comes to Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, who eventually becomes Carnage, he owns every second that he is on screen, and he looks like he's having the time of his life whenever the camera is on him, and you can tell, because when it comes to Woody Harrelson, I mean, he's pretty good at portraying homicidal maniacs. I mean, you can't get much better with Woody Harrelson, honestly, because I can't imagine anybody else pulling off a performance as good as Woody Harrelson does as Cletus Cassidy / Carnage. And they do get his backstory right, and it's very similar to that in the comics. I mean, if you read the comics, I mean, it, like, delves deep into, I mean, his psychopathy and, like, his tendencies, especially, they show it in, like, some form of drawings, like, we see, like, bits of his childhood, and he, I mean, his love for Shriek, played by Naomi Harris, and I do, like, I do wish that their relationship was a little bit more explored. I mean, we see it in a flashback, and of course we see it in, like, the drawing segment in one portion of the film. It would have been more better for me personally if their relationship was a little bit more fleshed out. I don't want to give too much in the spoilers. And then they eventually would reunite in one moment in the second act, and it leads to some bizarre action sequence. Some of the action sequences, I think they definitely improved on the action sequences over the first film, because when it came to the scenes with Venom and the action, there were some moments where you could not see what the hell was going on. But thankfully, they improved on this for this film, because, for one thing, you could see everything so clearly, and albeit, like, there were, like, a few shots where the editing is a little bit in my opinion, and some shots, especially in the beginning of the film, where it kind of feels out of focus in some moments. And if you've seen the film, you probably know what I'm talking about, because I was like, is this how it's going to be throughout the most of the film? Because it was kind of bothering me a little bit, but thankfully they don't, like, do the, like, out of focus shots throughout the large majority of the film, but mostly in the first few minutes, that's where it kind of bothered me. But still, I think they improve most of the action throughout the film. And of course, I cannot forget to mention what happens in the mid-credit scene. I definitely did not expect them to go there. And if you've seen the movie, of course you know what I'm talking about. But if you have not watched it, and you, like, are like the few people who just, like, leave the theater once the credits start rolling, please stay for it. It is worth your time, I swear to God. Just trust me on this, because it's definitely leading to something that I'm really looking forward to, and I hope they get it right. And that's something I'm definitely crossing my fingers on. So overall, it's a fun movie where you can just turn your brain off, just have fun with your friends, or if you're just looking to have a fun date night with your girlfriend or anything. It's definitely that type of movie, but it's not, like, 100% perfect on all levels. When it comes to Tom Hardy as Venom and Eddie Brock, I do think I definitely like him a lot better in this film than I did in the first film. Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy / Carnage, I really like, and I think the action is definitely an improvement over the first film, but I just wish that they focused a little bit more on character development, at least have, like, the film be, like, a few minutes longer, or at least, like, about an hour and a half longer. Then, of course, I mean, there are some moments where the editing gets a little bit weird in most places, and a few, like, shots where it kind of, like, feels out of focus. And that's just about it for me. I just had, like, I definitely had fun with this, and I didn't expect it to be better than the first film, but it definitely is. So I'm going to give Venom Let There Be Carnage a B. So what were your thoughts on this film? Let me know in the comments below. And guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. Looking forward to doing more videos really soon. I'm planning on starting my Halloween special really soon. I just gotta, like, well, here's my schedule. So, I'm gonna review the Daniel Craig Bond films from Casino Royale all the way to Spectre, leading up to No Time to Die, which I'm really looking forward to. And, then between that, I'll be covering Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, and Free Guy. And then from here on out, I'm just going to be doing horror films for my Halloween special. Of course, I'm reviewing The Matrix Reloaded this month with Ryan Cam, because we're continuing our series of Matrix reviews leading up to The Matrix Resurrections in December. And of course, with Cameron, I'm still doing the Spider-Man reviews, so yeah, that's my schedule for what I'll be doing on my channel from now on. So guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. Looking forward to doing more videos really soon. And if you want my thoughts on old or new movies, of course, you know where to find me.